believe in miracles? Would you love to see a miracle in your finances right now? Well, it is possible for you. You know, miracles happen every day for people all around the world, just like you and me. All you have to do is trust and believe. I'm Sherry Nichols, and I want to welcome you to the Miracle in You. We are dedicated to really bringing you and giving you hope and inspiration. And today, I have a superstar mega miracle maker with us, Maggie Cook. She has had an extraordinary life, She has gone from an orphanage to becoming a multimillionaire. And she is going to share with you the miracle, the biggest miracle that really changed everything for her in her life. So Maggie, welcome to the show. I'm so thrilled, excited, and honored to have you with us here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I would love to have you dive right in and share with everyone what your miracle is and why it was a miracle for you.
Well, there's been so many miracles in my life, starting with mentality and adopting a certain mentality at the orphanage where my life began. And throughout my life, these miracles happen just by keeping a mentality of positivity and hope and just wanting something better. My greatest miracle happened when I started my business, the salsa business. And I had many little miracles before that, but my greatest miracle was when I manifested a huge nationwide contract with Walmart, the Walmart stores, to distribute my products with them. And my business had hit a plateau where I was doing businesses with companies like Whole Foods and other supermarkets, but I had hit a plateau where my business really wasn't growing. And I thought, what can I do? What's the next step? What can I do to attract something bigger than I've been a part of before? And so what I did is what I usually did back then and can still continue to do is go back to the drawing board and ask myself the questions. What is it that I need to do? Quality questions. And then what I came up with is I need to go back and say, I need to write my affirmations. I need to write my new goals. I need to write my meditations and put them together. And what I did is I composed a 3-step system where you write affirmations and then you convert them into goals and then you turn them into meditations. And the reason why I love that is because people talk about vision boards, but I talk about action boards. When I had my vision board in front of me, or I had my goals written out, I would be in meditation. I had to open my eye and peek to see what the next one was. But when I had everything put together with music, sound, my affirmations in one recording, and I was able to sit down and meditate and visualize myself, see myself using all my senses there, then something incredible happened. So it took about 29 or so days. And I remember that I did my list, everything written out specifically, accurately, how I wanted it to be. And it took about that amount of time, about 29 days. I was in my office sitting down and I got a call. And this lady said, "Hey, Maggie." "Oh, hey, is this Maggie?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "This is Walmart. My name is Dee. And I'd like to see if you want if we went online and we looked at 10 companies and we thought yours was the best. Do you want to sell to Walmart?" And I was like,
what did you think? Did you think, oh my gosh, is this real? Is this?
Well, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Walmart in the phone. So I get up of my office and I ran to the living room and I tell my partner in life, which became my business partner later on, I said, "It's Walmart. They want our products, and she turns around to me and she says, "It's a prank, hang up." So I almost said, "Is this a prank?" But I held myself back and I said, "Wait a minute, I've been, wanting to manifest something like this." And the way that I wrote my affirmation was, the greatest, largest supermarket in the world is going to call me. I didn't specify which because I didn't want any limitations. And that's exactly how it happened. And the process of being in Bentonville a month later, shaking the buyer's hand, the guy that controls all the supermarkets in the country, including Sam's Clubs, exactly as I had visualized. I have chills just thinking about it. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes. Can you explain a little bit for people that aren't really clear about what an affirmation is, what exactly that is?
So an affirmation is something that it's a structure. I have a course called meditationcreator.com where I teach the structure, and you have to put certain components to the affirmation, and you start with the words I am,
Mhm.
because those are very powerful. You're declaring your divinity, who you are and what you want. And then you use gratitude, for example. So you would say, I am so grateful and thankful, because gratitude just opens up this vortex of attracting more of things to be grateful for. So
Mhm.
you do say, I am so grateful and thankful now that this moment. So you're feeling this moment as you're already there.
Mhm.
I'm achieving, or I have, now that I have, or I'm experiencing. So you use action verbs. This, but whatever it is that you're experiencing has to be super specific. It can't be random, because if you say, I'm experiencing financial freedom, the subconscious mind doesn't know what financial freedom means. It doesn't know the difference between $1 or $1,000,000. So you have to be very specific. If you're talking about a house, is the front door red? What's the materials? What does it smell like? What does it feel like?
Mhm.
And then you say by this date, because the subconscious mind loves dates. And I always say, or something better, because I always want to be available. I've had situations where I've manifested things bigger than what I thought, and I'm like, I better be careful what you ask for, you know. So but you prepare yourself for that. You open yourself to the possibilities. And I take people through the process of really understanding how to do this, and holding their hand as to, okay, is this strong enough? The
Mhm.
most important thing about an affirmation is you have to be able to feel it so intensely that it's moving you. That I used to do this. This happened to me one time in my office. I was in the morning and I was doing my affirmations for Walmart, and one of my office managers walks in the office, and I left the door unlocked and I was crying. Oh, I'm so successful, because I was feeling the emotions. And she walked in, she's like, you look kind of weird right now. And she left. But it's the power of emotion. And the reason why I teach to add music to it, and not just any music. What is the music that you're listening to down the road that is so moving, that makes you want to cry, that kind of music? Put that together with it, and it just opens up. And I talk about a hand placing technique, because we have different energy centers in our bodies. It's different every single time when you meditate. If you feel here and you don't feel how strong it is, if it's stronger here, then you focus on that area, because it brings more of that. Take it, for example, right now, put your hand right here.
Mhm.
How do you feel? Do you feel any movement, any sort of emotion? Now go down here in your throat area. Do you feel anything strong or anything different?
Definitely more in my throat.
Now
Mhm.
try your chest area.
I could feel that even before I touched it. Yeah.
Okay, so if that was the area, I wouldn't even go further to your
Mhm.
stomach area or below. I would just stay there and let that work with you, for you.
Yeah.
And so I did these things, and I understand now, because it's happened to me so many times, how powerful it is. So the emotion of thinking something to being, if you combine the emotion with the heart and the mind,
Huh?
it's the secret recipe for manifestation. So the more you can do the emotional part,
Yeah.
that's why music is so important to me, to anybody. Music is of angels. I believe it's of God,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
And in movies, and you're creating that movie in your mind, when you're visualizing yourself there, when you're seeing, breathing the space, the air, is the ocean air blowing your hair, are you hearing seagulls? All that experience, you're creating that movie, the musical experience. And then the touch, you will be in tears, if it's that strong enough. And that's why when I write my affirmations, they have to be, if let's say for a whole week or 2 weeks or a month, I listen to them and they don't move me as much, I will go back and change them a little bit. All I have to do is record everything together and make them super strong again, because we change, we're constantly evolving.
Yeah. What
We
does
have to.
touch do though, Maggie? When you say to touch, like what's the importance of the touch?
To be honest with you, I didn't know this before, and I think it has to do with the energy centers of the body.
Okay.
And the reason I did it when I did my meditations is because I felt something. And if I could feel more,
Uh-huh.
then yes, I want more. I
You
want to feel more of that experience.
I think it just came to me. I think it's an anchoring. And
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes.
you're touching it, it's anchoring the feeling. It's
Yes.
okay. Okay, great.
That's powerful.
I can move on. So you do this amazing process and you hear from Walmart.
Yes.
What happened next?
So I was getting my stuff together, and we just flew up to. They actually paid for my flight. The people that found us online, and I was up there. I remember walking into the room. I remember the meeting the man, the big guy,
Yeah.
and I remember shaking his hand clearly, just as I had visualized in my affirmations. And I remember him opening the container of salsa, just as I visualized, and I remember smelling the salsa in the air, the pico de gallo, the fresh, lime, cilantro, onions, everything. And I remember him shaking my hand at the end and saying, "We want your products. When can we have them? How many supermarkets do you want to be in?" And that's exactly what happened. And one of the biggest misconceptions that people have with big organizations like Walmart, big companies like Walmart, I heard, I had a lot of friends tell me, be careful with Walmart because they'll take advantage of you. They've taken advantage of so many people. The biggest thing that I've learned, especially when I was growing up in the orphanage and when I went to school, is people would tell me these teachers are horrible. Watch out. And I chose not to believe anything people told me until I had the experience. And my experience with Walmart was the most, because I would have been going into the meeting with limitations, with trying to protect myself, and that energy can be felt.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the most wonderful experience because the first thing they asked me is, how can you make more money? How can we mark up these prices? They were actually the lowest markup of any supermarkets that I had. I made more money with them. And the second question was, how can we make sure that you don't spread yourself too thin, because we want you to be in all these stores and we want to be able to know that you can deliver.
Mm-hmm.
So they were very, very considerate and very kind. And that's totally the opposite of what everybody told me. And believe me, I had quite a few people, several people that told me, watch out, they're going to take advantage of you. But it never happened.
I love that you're making that point because we can absolutely close the door on so many opportunities if
Yes.
we listen to outside. And they mean well. People mean well.
Yes.
Not that they don't, but it's always about staying in tune with what your truth is. So
Absolutely.
I love that point. Okay, so from there, then what happened?
So it was about a month later, and we had our first production of salsa. And I went from making salsa 5 days a week, 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, to having a 24-hour production. And I literally slept. This is where I'm talking about asking for a lot, that too much comes, so I had to adjust everything. So I had to hire a bunch of more employees, and I slept in the office, and they ran 24 hours. And if there's any problems, they would wake me up and I would go down there and try to fix a machine or do something. And it was so powerful and amazing. My company grew and I was able to delegate, automate, or eliminate things from my to-do list is one of the things that I teach. And with that process, I was able to also, with my energy, attract the right people to do the things that I wasn't very good at and grow the company that way. And it just became a massive success. You have to be prepared for success, or it'll catch you off guard. So if you're asking for something, if you're asking for a miracle, you have to be prepared to know what are all the amazing things. Be expecting all the amazing things can happen, but you have to be prepared, because if you ask for something great and you're not ready for the opportunity, you're going to miss a huge, and they don't come very often. You have to be prepared, especially if it's something that you truly, truly want. And to want to make a success of it, you have to do the work before it. I was so thankful that we had that technology map and HPP, because it allowed us to do that, to be able to distribute way, way far and just grow our business tremendously.
So when you talk about being prepared for it, I think this is a huge point because oftentimes we do ask, but then something comes our way and
Yes.
the fear jumps in.
Yes.
Fear jumps in. So beyond your planning, it sounds like you were very strategic and you had a great
Yes.
plan for this. But beyond that, was there anything else that you had to prepare yourself for mentally, emotionally, spiritually in order to be able to receive this and to allow this miracle into your life?
That's a really good question. research says, and it came out several years ago, that when you prepare your mind to receive something, it takes about 21 to 40 days, depending on how your mind works, to make something believable. If you repeat it enough, if you say, I am this, or I have this, at first, if you say, I am a millionaire and you're not, you're going to be like, well, that's a lie, right? And so how do you prepare yourself for that? But if you go into that meditative state with your affirmations, you're in a dream. You suddenly begin to believe because you're so into it, that's where the miracle begins to compose itself. And by the time you reach that point, you already know you're a millionaire. You already know you're successful. You already know you have lost the weight. You already know that you're not sick any longer. That's how I'm able to heal my thyroid. They took it out. They took it completely out. And just by visualizing it filling up and being full, I begin to manifest that miracle as well. It's unbelievable. The only limitation that we have is ourselves, because sometimes we just don't believe, or the thing is, there's no way that you cannot believe that you're awesome and great and you can achieve so many things if you put yourself through that strategy, through those habits of putting these things together to make it happen for you. Things sometimes happen, but that's great. But if you plan your success, and with these things, it's even going to be even greater. Mm-hmm. And that's the one thing that we need to keep in mind if we want to, live with purpose and do the best that we can do with our lives. We're more powerful than we think we are.
Oh, way more power. And can you speak to that? Everybody, the people closest to you in your family, your loved ones, your best of friends, all telling you to give up. And yet you stayed. What was it that brought you through that?
So it goes back to what I call the 3 R's of highly successful people, which is resourcefulness, being resilient, and being relentless. And resourcefulness, people think the resources are outside of us, but they're all within. That's how many people start with a lot of money, their businesses, and end up failing. But people that had nothing end up being the most successful because they know how to reach in for resources. It's not having a lot of money or having not having the right partner or the right people, because everything emanates from you, and you can go into your meditation. You can create all that world for you. And then the other one is resiliency. You have as an entrepreneur or as a woman, whatever you're doing in life, to be able to bend but not break. Kind of like that coconut tree and the storm. You're able to come back up and figure out a way. You see your challenges as opportunities. And then you have to be willing to, number 3, be relentless. That means you have to have a mentality of doing whatever it takes. Whatever it takes is no matter what. Like nobody can tell me no. They can tell me that I can't do something, but I believe in myself because I choose to believe in myself. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And that's really what took me from, when I was homeless. And I was homeless due to an issue that happened with my caregivers when they told me limiting beliefs that I accepted, but when I released them, I ended up getting $800 and started my business, and then sold to Campbell Soup for $231 million years later. That kind of mentality of having those 3 R's of highly successful people, I think that's what I consider that any person needs to adapt, to have that character, that motivation to achieve something. But it all goes back to this one thing, which is purpose. What is your why? Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? Because if you don't know what that is, you really won't have the fire and the passion to achieve that thing that you want to achieve. That's the cherry on top of the cake, how they say, because when you know exactly what that is, you can take your whole company, your whole culture, whatever your people around your life, and share that dream with them, and show them how that's how Apple is so successful. That's how SpaceX, and I have chills again because they share that dream with everybody, and everybody jumps on board. And it's just a process where everything works out so much quicker because everybody's in it. And that's how I manifested success with my team too. But it is that process of having that character of the fire and the passion of being those 3 things, the 3 R's of highly successful people.
Mm-hmm. And for you, what was your why? What was it that why was it so important for you to really persevere and be relentless with this and really trust that the purpose that was coming through, and I think this is important too, is a lot of times we do feel that the longing or the idea comes through that is really our purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a matter of, you said it, believing in yourself
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
and knowing that there is a power far greater than you, that God is there, that He is really there with you, no matter
Yeah.
what is going on in your life, and staying connected to that, which I understood you to say is part of the 3 R's as well. But
Yeah.
I would love to know for you, because you were so relentless, and I mean, this woman is incredible. She wrote a book. It is the most phenomenal, powerful book. She is just so incredibly tapped in, tuned in to her strengths and her, into that power that is breathing her, and her resilience to make things happen. And that is what is possible for you too. But what I'm hearing you say is that you have to have a big why, which I
Yeah.
absolutely 100%. So what was your why?
So when I started my company and I came out of being homeless, and the reason why I was homeless is because my caregiver told me that I would never amount to anything, exactly his words, that I would die in prison and with AIDS. And I said, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Uh,
That was my why. That
oh,
was my fire, my passion to. And the reason why he said that is because I came out to him as gay, and they were very religious, and I was going to hell, and I grew up in that. So I had that trauma. Oh my gosh, I'm going to hell. But no, no, that's not it. We're so much more, and there's so much more that we don't know. And God is in our favor, and He's on our side, and He doesn't care who you are. If
yeah.
you're black, white, if you prefer certain things, as long as there's that love in your heart and that passion to serve and help people and grow yourself, because we're here also to evolve as spiritual beings. Because when we don't evolve, we don't change. We don't change, we don't grow. And when we don't grow, we die.
Yeah.
So we have to. So that was my fire. But an interesting thing happened was that when he passed, I was like, well, who am I going to prove now, right? So
Right.
I had to redefine my why.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
my why changed completely because I realized that I'm so much more that I can give to the world, to inspire people like you that are watching, to inspire women who are struggling, because I've been there, done that, I've lived that road. What if I can be someone that, but just by saying something, it doesn't have to be the entire room, that I can change, to help change somebody's life.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives me tremendous joy. That's why I do that, what I do every single day. That's why I get up every time. Right when I wake up, I say my affirmations. That's one of the first things I say, my little mantra of why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm living what I'm living. And it's ingrained in me, and I love it because it's what really gives me ultimately the fulfillment that I'm not searching for anymore. It's with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living fulfilled.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, how has this manifestation of this miracle for you, going from an orphanage, going from being told that you'd never amount to anything, how has that impacted your life, having manifested this miracle?
Well, it's impacted me in so many levels. I think my caregiver was extremely impacted. Uh, I actually shared on my online program how he never acknowledged my success, but 1 week before he passed, he wrote me a letter,
Mm.
and he said, "I'm so proud of you." He says, "You don't know what you mean. You don't know what I mean right now, but you're like from the old school, from people that are willing to labor and do whatever it takes." And he says, "America needs more people like you." And he says, "I'm really proud of you."
Oh,
And so I didn't need his approval, but when you had constant suffering growing up, and you sometimes thought that things really were impossible and you couldn't get out of the barbed wire fence, but knowing that you created something and somebody that really meant a lot, that you never got a response from positive like that in your life, that responded that way right before he passed, to me that was my heaven moment.
mm,
But the bigger picture is not that. The bigger picture is the purpose behind becoming,
mhm.
because
I see my father in people, and I see the potential that I can continue to be, to grow even as I am now, and continue to connect with people and inspire them. I inspired him,
Mm.
you know? And so that there's been so many blessings, and the financial part of it is very little compared to what the love and the result of being hopeful has become for me in my life.
Mm. That had to be so healing for you.
Yes, I still have the letter.
Yet, as you say, the whole experience was such a gift, because without that, you really formed who you became, because,
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
beauty of the transformation, that it went from I'm going to prove him wrong to
Hmm.
being more about a soulful uh,
Hmm.
why, and all of it necessary to get you where
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
And this is where I'll say that I'm so thankful, so grateful and thankful for all my struggles, because they made me the woman that I am today.
Beautiful. Well, you certainly are an incredible inspiration, Maggie. And I would love you to share with us the meditation that you used while you were going through this process of creating your miracle. I know that it would be so powerful for everybody watching. Would you honor us with that?
Absolutely. And my meditation structure has changed and continues to change. And what I advise people, I'm going to take you through some steps right now, but I advise you, when you that you're listening, that you can create your own meditation process, because it has to feel really good for you. It has to feel right for you. But I'm just going to go very quickly and explain what we're going to do. So we're going to take some deep breaths, and we're going to hold it, and then we're going to let go a couple of times, and then we're going to start with a mantra. And the mantra that I love to use is a Native American. It goes like this. It goes nai, 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 oa, and it means I release, I release, I release into all that is.
Mm.
And we're going to repeat that for a little bit, but we're going to start a little bit louder, and then bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, because what that's going to do, it's going to quiet our monkey brain. And when we're at that level, then I'm going to bring you into the visualization of light coming in your body from your head. And if you want to do your chest, I used to open my chest and just visualize light coming in and going through your body, and just cleansing you, purifying you, making you stronger. And then I'm going to just be silent, because I want you to visualize how you see yourself successful right now in this moment. So I'm not going to say any words about, because you're different than me. I don't know what your outcome is, but I'm just going to let you, knowing what you've learned so far, just be in the place of already knowing that you're successful being there. Okay?
Sounds great.
So let's get started. So I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. And if you're sitting down, put your feet shoulder length apart. And you can just rest your hands on your legs. And if you can sit up straight, that would be wonderful. And I want you to take a deep breath as high as you can, and hold it. And then let go. We're going to do two more. Hold it. We're going to do one more. Hold it. Now repeat after me. Nai, 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 oa. Nai, 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 oa. Nai, 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 oa. Whisper it. Now just say it with your mind. I release. Now ask and invite and allow the light of God, the energy of God to come through your head and in through your body. And as you visualize it, let it just come down and rain over you. Let it inundate you in love, light. And as this light comes, you can feel it flowing through your head, your neck area, your shoulders, your arms, your stomach area, your legs, your calves, your feet, your toes. You just let this light go through you, through the ground. Just receive it. Smile if you feel it. I want you to take your right hand and I want you to touch your forehead. And if you feel emotion movement in your forehead, stay there. If not, I want you to move down to your throat area. If you feel something, stay there. If you want to test and try something else, feel your chest area. If it feels good, stay there. And just allow and keep letting that light come flow through you. If you need to go to your stomach area, place your hand in your stomach area. And feel. The stronger the emotion, that's where you stay. Try, test other areas. If there's 2 areas, go for 2 areas. And start with your affirmation. Say, I am so grateful and thankful. Now that. And continue it for you. I am so grateful and thankful. If you need to bring the emotions out, let them come out. Now that. I am so grateful and thankful. Now that I am experiencing something beautiful. Just do it for a few minutes more. If you need to cry, let it out. The more emotion that you have, the more powerful the asking will manifest. If you want to continue to stay there, just stay there. And when you're ready to come out, start by taking a deep breath. And knowing that you were an old person when you came into this, and you're breathing out the old person, and you're breathing in the new you, the new outcome. And when you're ready to come out, you can just open your eyes slowly. And you're there.
That was incredible. Incredible, Maggie. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I felt so much joy. It was an out of body experience with how much joy I was feeling. That is so powerful.
Yes, it's a different world, the world of your mind. And when you pair that with the energy of the heart, it's just where, you know, mind over matter things happen, where the gifts are, the gifts that seem invisible but are very, very powerful and visible and the unseen that come to manifest.
So, you know, and I could feel when I touched my heart something I've never felt before, and that was a pulsing, a very strong pulsing. I've never been taken through a meditation like that. So, what a treat. Thank you so much for sharing that with everybody. Oh my
You're
God.
very welcome. Yes.
And you've got these meditations on your website. Is that right?
It's an online program that I have, and it's called meditationcreator.com. And it's something that I haven't seen anywhere, where you go through the steps of creating powerful affirmations first, you know, first of all. And then the second one is putting them together and putting music with them. But I show the techniques. I think I have pictures, drawings of where to place your hands. But ultimately, there's meditation for all types of things. I used to have meditations for different purposes. Ultimately, you have to create what moves you the most. You can follow what I'm telling you, but you are your own powerful spiritual being. If you do something else that moves you, do it. If you feel like you should try something else, do it, because it's only going to make it more better and more powerful for you.
Yeah. So use your intuition with it, and
Yes,
to guide you. Beautiful. Well, I am definitely going to be going to your site and grabbing those, and I encourage everybody who's watching to do the same. It worked for you. Did you say in 29 days that it worked?
Well, you know, that one, the biggest one, happened in 29 days. The research out there several years ago said that it took between 30 and 40 days, but now they're saying that it can take up to 21 days, which I've manifested things in 21 days. And I think that 21 days, the number of manifestation or something like that, in numerology or something. Somebody told me something like that, but it's very powerful energy.
Yeah, and it depends on uh, how much emotion you're giving to it as well,
Yeah.
because that's the attracting factor there as well, the huge one.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you again. Maggie, you went from an orphanage to a salsa business that you ended up selling to Campbell's for $231 million. In how many years?
7.
That is testament to miracles working and putting into practice your 3 R's for success.
I want to thank you for having me here. This is what makes me come alive.
Well, I am so grateful and so honored to have had you with us, Maggie. And, you know, what you've shared with us today is really, really powerful. So thank you for being with us and for really persevering. You've got storms happening there, and I appreciate your commitment to being here and to sharing your miracle with everyone. What a powerful story Maggie shared with us. I hope that you are inspired and that you will put the steps that she gave us into practice so that you can create your miracle. If you would like to connect with what I call your diamond power, that connection to the all that is, the connection to God, I have a very special gift for you. It's a 15-minute guided meditation that will give you access to the power that is greater than you, so that you can have an even deeper understanding and a more expanded understanding of bringing the miracle that you desire into your life. In addition, if you have a miracle that you would love to share, or you know someone who has a miracle, we want to hear about it. Click on the link below, diamondpowertv.com, and share it with us. You may be the next miracle we share. Until next time, believe in the miracle in you.